always glad to have you join us on Issues, that current affairs program where we bring you topical issues in the society to dissect. I am Abdullah Hajja, welcoming you to the program, reaching you from the Unity Station NT Channel 5 Abuja. And today we shall be looking at a very critical issue, talking about tax and tax system in Nigeria. You're welcome. Welcome back. Today we shall be starting the program from the just concluded 27th Annual Conference of Tax in Nigeria, organized by the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. And we'll be looking at the highlights and the resolution reached, particularly at the time the government is trying to reform a tax system. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you for choosing to stay with us on the program, and at this juncture we have the privilege of having Samuel Agbeluye MNI, Fellow Chartered Institute of Taxation. He is the President as well as Chairman of Council of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. We're pleased to have you join us on Issues tonight, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right, well, we want to say congratulations for the just concluded annual 27th tax conference that you just held in Abuja.
Thank you.
All right, we want to also know the outcome in terms of the highlights and resolutions reached by that, conference.
Okay, thank you very much. We had our 27th annual tax conference between 12th and 16th of May 2025. And the theme of the conference is Tax for Development, Policy, Law, and implementation. Implementation being the administration of tax in the country. And we had the President of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was ably represented by the Minister of State for Finance, who gave a keynote addressed the gathering. And we had other great Nigerians. The chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform, Tawi Dele, who is a member of our institute, was also there. We had two governors in attendance, the governor of Plateau State and Ondo State, who all spoke about the issues we have in the country, particularly the bills at the National Assembly. It was a great assembly of tax professionals and political leaders in the country. If I may use this opportunity to thank the political leaders who joined us, because this is what we have been working towards in the institute. We don't want members to talk to members. We want to talk to political leaders, because these are the people who will take the major decisions in the country. And this conference gave us that opportunity to do that. The attendance was great. We had over 4,000 participants who attended both virtually and online. The first time we are having that kind of a number.
Okay, if we may stay with the conference, can we get to know further in terms of what we should be expecting in terms of what you've agreed to do from the conference as a way of your resolutions?
Okay, thank you very much. In all cases, when we have conference or major program like this, we always come up with a communique. We use the opportunity of the conference to address the fiscal and tax space in the country. We didn't just look at the federal government, because most of the time we focus on the federal government. And the federal government in this case is represented by the Federal Inland Revenue Service. Most people who follow the event in the country will agree with me that Federal Inland Revenue Service has been doing fairly well over the years. So we want them to do better. But we believe the issues or the challenges don't really lie at the first step of the FRS. But in most cases, with the state government, various internal revenue services, and local governments. And while some state internal revenue services are doing very well, some you can't see the same with some other ones. And so we look at the fallout of this tax reform as it has to do with the subnationals the expectations from the subnationals, we look at the expectations from the taxpayers, manufacturers association of Nigeria, we look at it from the tax administrators, what to expect and how to prepare for those opportunities and challenges ahead. And so our communique will be reflecting this. And once the communique is out, we send to the government for at various levels for the implementation. Because that's the only way we can contribute to the system called Nigeria. And we're happy that we'll be doing this over the years.
One important issue is tax is like a life wire of the survival of society. I don't know if I'm right.
You are correct. It's the life wire. It's not just life, it's the life wire.
Okay, now most often we live in a society where it's usually difficult to be able to collect tax apart from the income tax that is very common around us. How can government better drive tax reform? I don't know if it is part of what we should be expecting when it finally becomes a law in the reform that government is trying to do.
Your point is one of the steps that will make us to get better tax revenue from the citizens. That is the law that we are waiting for passage from the National Assembly. The both houses of the National Assembly, they are having conference now to analyze their different positions. Thereafter, they will send it to the president, and we believe that the president will attend to it immediately because it's a landmark step that this government has taken. And if properly implemented, it may be the major or the best step of this government in its first year in office. We say that because we know. And so we are interested in the implementation. We are interested in how it's going to work and the benefits go to the table. And so the various aspects, once the law is there, because taxation is law, no discretion, you can't assume if the tax is 30%, you can't use 31%, neither can you use 29%. So once we have the certainty of law, it will have made a major and landmark progress from where we were. Because I tell you, we have a lot of before now, we have a lot of obsolete laws that has not helped tax administration and practice in the country. Once we have the act of the National Assembly assented to by the president, then the next thing, and which is the most important, we'll be talking about the years, is that the government must take steps to judiciously use what is collected from taxpayer for the citizens, for the development of this country. Because that is the essence of taxation. It is not just to collect money for the sake of collection. It is to collect for development. And that was the reason why we start the theme of our conference, Taxation for Development. We have focus on development. Once the populace, Nigerians are great people, good people, hardworking, doing very well. A lot of people, private sector initiative driving the country. So once we have good implementation and judicious usage of tax revenue, then the confidence, the trust gap that has existed will be closed. The confidence will come back. There will be a lot of voluntary compliance, like you mentioned in your comments. It won't be those who have no choice in it, because that's the way we say it. Those people who are collecting money through payroll, they pay their taxes because they have no choice in it. Yes. But those who are outside this bracket, particularly those in the informal sector, because they have a kind of gap, they are utilizing that not to pay. But those people also need to contribute because we are all stakeholders in this country. Once those people are able to come and pay, revenue will go up. Government will have enough money for public expenditure. Once we have that, development will come. It's a circle, and once everybody is doing his or her bit, then Nigeria will be great. This is our focus in the institute, and that's why the institute has invested greatly. We are not government finance. We get money from our members. That's why we have invested greatly in the publicity and supporting this bill. And it is our prayer that the president will sign the bill into an act, and once that is done, the implementation will follow to make it good.
I know the institute is very critical to every tax issue in this country. So how has the institute also assisted, in the facilitation of this tax reform bill, particularly I'm interested in your emphasis on the utilization of these taxes, because most often, you agree with me, citizens would always want to evade tax because of the non-utilization or full utilization of some of these taxes for development. How can we further re-emphasize that aspect from the institute?
Okay, part of our job in the institute is advocacy.
Okay.
We have done this over and over. I like to refer to some of our conference almost 20 years ago. I will be saying the same thing. But then it was convenient for government to get revenue from petroleum, from oil. And so it was like the government did not listen to us, the political leaders did not listen to us sufficiently enough. There is nothing that is happening now that we didn't see some 10, 20, 15 years ago. It will interest you that we had a conference in NAP Center Abuja in 2016. The then Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, came for that program. You need to listen to what Kemi said in that conference and our communique after that conference. All these issues we have seen ahead of now. But we are happy that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came in May 2023 and focused on this matter. And that's why we say in the Institute, we pray that you assent to this bill into law and the implementation will be great. Once we have this, it will be his best shot in governance in this era. We see the benefits coming because you can't run this government. Nigeria is a big entity, and I know Nigeria very well. If you get to Damaturu today, you'll be thinking, do you see our people in Osogbo? If you get to Osogbo today, you'll be doubting if you see our people in Pinikebi. That is how fast the country is, and we need a lot of money to go about the public expenditure. But where do we get this money from? We have borrowed enough. We can't continue paying interest on servicing loan using up to almost 87% of our revenue. We are grateful this government is reversing that, but we need tax revenue to do that. And once this revenue is properly utilized, then it will help the country. And there's something that is also embedded in these bills that we have. The joint tax board is being properly restructured. So the peer review amongst the 36 plus 1 state is going to help. And I know that this is happening at the subnational. Nigeria can talk of politics, but professionals at the national, particularly at the various internal revenue service, they don't do politics. You will see Benue comparing with Plateau comparing with Bayelsa for the purpose of development. But this proposal is bringing a better platform for this to happen. And once we have this happening, then Nigeria will be great.
Well, we want to thank you very well, Mr. Samuel Agbelui MNI, for talking to us on issues. But we're not done yet. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll be answering more questions for the benefits of our viewer on the program. You're still watching issues on the Unity Station NT Channel 5 Abuja. Time now to go on a break, and when we return, my guest is still here, and we'll be answering more questions on the program. Do stay with us. Glad to know you're still there with us on the program, and I still have my guest here, and I want to welcome you back, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's delve into some of the professional nitty-gritty of what you do. Can we just get more light on the principle of taxation for the benefit of our viewers, so that we'll be well guided in understanding some of the things you tell us as professionals?
The principle, as I want to explain it, is just the need to have a civilized environment, to live in a place whereby the weak and the rich, the poor and the strong can live in harmony, and having put the sovereignty of the country, the power in the hand of the elected leaders. And so we come together to contribute into a pool and hand over to the government for the government to distribute and use for the well-being of the people. So you can say it is a compulsory levy that citizens pay to live in a civilized environment. And so it is as old as you can think. And Adam Smith made us to believe that when you are talking of taxation, you must look at the economy of collecting the taxes, you must look at equity and the likes. So that it is the way of running government to ensure that we don't live in a jungle. And so that is the essence of taxation, and it's for development. So our focus in the institute is to make sure that taxation is an instrument of development, not just revenue collection. Okay. You can also use taxation to stabilize the economy. You can use it to redistribute income from the high-end people, the high network individual collect without ignoring their interest, to also redistribute, because we are not on the same income platform. So for those who don't have, I would say taxation is not quick pro quo, meaning that it is not that I'm giving 20,000 in terms of my tax payment and the government must give me service of 20,000 in return. The government has the discretion to distribute that money. Then what is important is that whatever is distributed must be seen to be fair, to be to represent what the yearnings of the citizens are. Once these are done, then we have captured what taxation stands for.
My next question is around elementary knowledge of taxation or tax. We hear about tax exemption. So can you shed more light on that, sir?
Well, tax exemption is like an incentive. It's an incentive, and even embedded in this tax reform bills, we have that properly spelled out, because you need to encourage both the citizens and the companies to do well, because it is only when people do well that they can have surplus that they will pay into the coffers of the government. For individuals, there are a lot of before now, the people who are accepted from payee are the people receiving 30,000 per annum, and because of the minimum wage, which has moved to 70,000, people receiving 70,000, and even by virtue of what is going on in the National Assembly, people receiving 100,000 will not be paying taxes after these bills are signed to law. That is an exception, and you will agree with me, it is to allow people to survive, because it is when people survive and thrive that they can think very well and have positive attitude to contribute to the country. That is for individuals. For the companies, there are a lot of exemptions, and we have said this over and over again, but I guess the government needs a lot of work to do, because it's like when the government say we are not increasing tax rate, some section of the country still say the government is increasing rate, and as an institute, we are not financed by government. We have also said that everything we have seen in this bill, there is no increase. If anything, there are a lot of exemptions coming up. Before now, if your business is within the threshold of 25 million, you won't pay company income tax, you won't pay VAT. You are not supposed to do withholding tax. Now, that the bill has sent to the National Assembly by the federal government, by the executive arm of government, raised that threshold from 25 million to 50 million. But if the National Assembly has further increased to 100 million, meaning that if your business, your activities or turnover, whether you call it turnover, revenue or income, is within the range of 100 million and below, you are not going to pay company income tax, no VAT, and you are not subjected to withholding tax activities. Meaning that you have opportunity to properly utilize your working capital. Meaning that you have more money for business and you are not going to go to the bank to collect money. Once you are able to stabilize, you move forward. Being below 100 million threshold is not a fixed destination. It's just where you are today. So once you do well within this range, in the next 1 year, you can move to 120, you can move to 200, meaning that the government is sensitive to you, in order to for you to thrive. Once you thrive, then it's common sense, it's morally right, and it's the law for you to start contributing by paying your company income tax, deducting your VAT and remitting it, and do the rest. So there are a lot of incentives. So incentive is to encourage the business to thrive, to do very well. So it is not just that government is throwing away money. It's to encourage. And once you thrive, you become a responsible citizen, either at the corporate or as an individual. That is the essence.
Very important point there. But still, with this government understanding and incentive as a way of trying to carry every citizen along, we still hear the issue of tax evasion.
Well, tax evasion is criminal,
Okay.
and no one should be a criminal in any country. But again, it is what it is. You won't get there overnight. Okay? Nobody should do that. It should all, because when you fail, that means you are not interested in the development of the country you live in. And so that kind of person or such people don't have the right to compare Nigeria to UK. They don't have the right to compare Nigeria to US, whereby because you can't be in US and you keep on evading tax in US is as bad as you can think. You are caught, you pay for it. So nobody should evade tax in the country because it's a criminal thing. And the justification that we can't see what the government is using the money for cannot survive, because it is better you pay what you are supposed to pay and hold the government accountable. You see, we may have challenges, but to criticize and do nothing is also damaging the system. So pay your right taxes, participate in government, because democracy is not just also to vote. We must take up the government, and the government this time around, by virtue of what we have seen, it's not just the federal government. We have state government and we have local government chairmen across 774 local government across the country. So we must take this set of people to account. When last did we see our local government chairmen doing something within our community? Most of us, we don't even know our chairmen are. And so this is important. If we engage in tax evasion, we are doing the wrong thing, and it's criminal.
All right, quickly, our time is giving us signal, but we must ask these questions. As professionals also, and your contributions towards the tax reform, bill, I don't know if you have also helped government to look at area where we've listened to conversations out there, multiple taxation. How can we best solve this problem?
The bill offers solution to multiple taxation. You see, I started from what President Tinubu said. When he came on board, possibly because he's a finance person, one of the first statements he uttered was that he is not a lover of multiplication of taxes. He said that. And he took steps by setting up the committee. The committee has submitted a report. The report is with the National Assembly. Hopefully, that will be passed and it will ascend to it. That is a major step. But I tell you, the state governors, in terms of implementation, because there are a lot of non-state actors within the tax space, the state governor and the security agencies will have a lot of work to do. And when there's political will, it won't be difficult to do.
All right, sir, we want to thank you, but still within our limited time to go, we want to also ask, how can government also best increase the tax net now to accommodate more people, particularly those in the informal sector?
The informal sector, let me state this, the people in the informal sector can easily be captured using technology. Okay. And sometimes in the country we have beautiful policy, and we jettison possibly because of politics or whatever. But Governor Soludo, when he was the CBN governor, talk of cashless economy. The immediate past governor of CBN, I'm not talking about the other side of his policy, but he also tried to do Naira redesign. He's also talking about cashless economy. We need to pursue that policy very well so that many people will come into the banking sector. And we must also address the reason why people are not in the banking bracket, why they are not patronizing the bank. The charges must be moderate. we keep on getting a lot of charges that is driving people away. If you want to bring a lot of people, bring them into the banking system. With that, you can trace and follow what is happening. It is easier when you have them in the banking net than when they are outside the bank and they are carrying cash everywhere. That is a major step to go. With technology, we can do the rest.
Thank you very much. I must say you are a journalist delight from your explanation and highlights of what we need to know as far as tax and taxation in Nigeria is concerned. I must thank you, Samuel Agbilu, MNI Fellow, Chartered Institute of Taxation, as well as President and Chairman of Council of Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, for talking with us on issues as well as highlighting some of these issues that we need to know.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you just got the views of a professional, and we've learned so much on the program. Let's do it again, same time, same station, where we bring you another topic and expert to talk to us on the program. I remain Abuja saying good night.